Good morning, YouTube. Robert Firestone, 6:19 a.m. Year of our Lord, January 22nd, 2021. Okay. Charlie Ward's put out a video with, I think his name is Nicholas Benman, um, trying to give us kind of an update and where to direct our eyes to see things that's going on. I still find this totally stupid and retarded. Okay, that's just me. After I went through some things in my life with health, I quit walking on eggshells. I'm trying to be as much upfront and honest as I can without hurting people's feelings. I only got one anymore. That's it. You heard it. I go on about my damn business. But anyway, I still probably I'll still probably put the link in the video to have on Rumble, and y'all go watch that too. And listen to Charlie, I guess. Some people watch him, some people don't. But I have seen these things that he's speaking of. I watched the first 5 minutes or so of it. And just to back up what I've done seen in the last couple of days that just didn't make no sense. It's almost like they're telling us that my bandana is green. Okay. Plain as day, nose on your face, it's yellow. Okay. This is how I'm feeling. I know we're in a dark place. I feel like there's going to be an outcome to the betterment of all of us. But at the same time, my gut's telling me, I guess this is the side of me that's more human than spiritual, maybe. Or this is more spiritual. Let's see. More human than spiritual, or more spiritual than human. I know it sounds like a flip flop or whatever, but I'm not quite sure. My gut still tells me that we're being somehow or another bullshitted and lied to. And on the other hand, at the same time, it may not be no more than just a curtain call, so to speak. But anyway, I'm going to turn y'all around. I'm going to record this Charlie. I'm going to watch the rest. I'm going to start it, and y'all see the beginning of it, and I'll get to see the rest of it and with y'all. But I think I will still put Hev's link to Rumble, and y'all go watch that, because in there, she's dealing with an individual that sounds exactly like you. Okay? I think there's two threads, and both threads are pretty long. Okay? But the only thing's changed is the picture. It's a black and white picture of the Punisher. It ain't Q no more. And something trumpet. Okay? Don't quite understand because, well, y'all see. We've been following Q for over 3 years and told by Q and the Patriots that there wasn't no secure platforms other than what he was on, and that would be the only platform that he would ever say anything on. But now all of a sudden, Jack Dorsey's allowing something like this to go out to all of us. Who's the biggest fools in all of this? Y'all gonna hear some incredible shit from Charlie. And some of this has already been verified, and I've seen the pictures and things for myself. The only thing I didn't know Joe Biden was right-handed, and he's signing all these so-called executive orders that's blank with his left hand, and none of them's been put up on the website. I've gotten emails, supposedly, from Joe. I guess they think somehow or another I'm falling into the muck and the mire of the bullshit too, but I'm not. But anyway, I don't want to be on here too long with y'all because it's just like a 30-minute video, and I feel like it's very informative because this playing out of all of this, there needs to be an end to it. We need to have some stableness back under us as the biggest chocolate chip cookie in the world, known as the United States of America. But anyway, let me flip y'all around and get squared up. Then I can set it up where I can get Mr. Ward on there. All right, y'all.
Everything that's happening today is staged, and we're going to go into the details of why we think that and what information that we have. Now, just before we begin, I would like for you guys to subscribe to our BitChute channels, the JasaraClub.com. Both me and Charlie are on it, along with other many greats. And the links are below in the description. Charlie, how are you?
I'm very good. I'm very, very good. I've said it many times, but it's a wonderful time to be alive.
It is. It's a very wonderful time to be alive. I think many of us who watched the inauguration, and I'm very guilty of this, it brought my energy levels really, really far down. And then I had a really bad day, and I woke up the next day, and when I put my emotions to one side, and I felt much better, then everything, my senses started coming back to me. I started remembering everything, all the executive orders that were signed, and everything, all of Trump's achievements, and everything just doesn't make sense. And there's going to be a twist.
Look, another thing that I say all the time is if it looks like shit and smells like shit, it's probably shit. And now's the perfect time. But there's so many people, it looks like shit and smells like shit, but they've got no idea what it is. And this is where you need to trust your intuition. You need to look inside yourself. And there's so many things, there's so many pointers out there. If you want to have a bit of fun, be eagle-eyed at different things that are happening and look at detail. And I'll give you little examples that 3 or 4 people have come to me and said. Outside the White House, on the TV set that they're using, is a car park. That's not how it is at the White House from the Oval Room. The desk in the Oval Room is completely the wrong desk. There's so many different things that if you know what you're looking for, you just go, hang on a second, that's not right. And that's all we want you to do is start looking, poking yourself and finding out. Because if I tell you it all, then you're going, yeah, but how do you know? It's not about that. It's about you doing a little bit of work, having a little bit of fun as well, because little things like Joe Biden putting out that he's signing a new executive order. The only thing that anybody that's observant will notice he's signing it with the wrong hand. He's been right-handed all his life, and then suddenly he's signing executive orders. He's doing with his left hand, and you just go, surely somebody will wake up to these little things. Yeah, I got woken up to it. I admit that I was woken up to it. But these are all little telltale signs that something's not right. And then the fear goes away and you have a bit of fun. Because you're looking for the silly things, because some of them are very, very silly. Little things like Donald Trump is still being driven around in a presidential car.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden had to hire his own private jet to his own inauguration. Mm-hmm. Doesn't that ring any alarm bells?
The other thing... Sure, sorry. No, please. Sorry for interrupting.
Surely, if you're about to be the real president of the real United States of America, the real United States of America will provide you with transportation to your own inauguration. Surely. I've done it for everyone else. What's wrong with this fella?
I want to make, I think that's a very good point, and I want us to go into the facts, okay? Because this is what people need. So there was 3 interesting things. The first interesting thing was if you go to the Federal Register, what do you see, Charlie?
I don't see any executive orders signed by Joe Biden. The number beside his name is 0, and that was at close of business yesterday. So And of course, every single one has to be put into the register when you do an executive order.
Mm-hmm.
So the mainstream media now are highly complicit to fraud, to a lie, to everything else. But for those people that are following us, you can sit back and smile and just know that you're watching a load of absolute twaddle coming out of the television.
It's taken a few days, a couple of days for us to marinate and allow this information to come out and for us to do the research. We're not going to know everything on that day or, straight after. But this is the federal register.gov right here. I'm on the website now. And if you scroll down here, I just want to show the people, right? Let me just see if I'm looking at this properly. If you look at it, it says Joe Biden, no executive orders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're usually quite instant when he signs executive orders, and none has been recorded. Now, on top of that, let's speak about LA. What's up with LA? And then we'll use that and back that up with evidence. So let's talk about the LA set.
Well, the LA set has been set up to make it look like the White House, and most people that are aware about what's going on were sent pictures from it this morning to show the set in a studio to make it look like the White House. And anybody that's following me in my chat, in my Insider Club, we posted the pictures of the set. And it's become public knowledge that Joe Biden is visiting the set to do these things. So if you're a real president running the country, you don't go to a set. You normally go to the Oval Office and you invite either the mainstream media or your own film crew to record it. You don't go to a television set in Los Angeles to do that sort of thing. That is another wake-up call to those people who believe the mainstream media. Need to look at the facts rather than what's coming out of the television right now is nothing more than doggy poo.
Maybe that's where the car park is in LA.
It probably is. There's plenty of car parks in LA, I can assure you.
Now, when we look at the LA set and we look at, the Federal Register list, the Federal Register.gov, you can go look at it yourself. I will leave the link below, actually. Then you can go to Rudy Giuliani's Twitter account, and on the 21st of January, 7:26, and I'll just point it there. There we are. Right?
Yeah.
I'll read it for you, for the listeners as well. The American people were at best virtual participants in today's inaugural. It was a purely staged media event for the elite. All other Americans were invited to watch from afar, very afar, meaning from your television screens.
Correct.
So when you look at all of these together, this is staged. And then we've got what's happening with Marjorie Greene? What is she doing, Charlie?
Well, Marjorie Greene is we're now on Friday, so over the weekend everything will be put in place, but he'll be served with his impeachment documents, and that'll be a critical part. It'll be very interesting to see because the mainstream media were all over the impeachment process with Donald Trump, and the fact that Nancy Pelosi had bought special pens and issuing out special pens to these people, poison pens. And let's see how much the mainstream media cover Joe Biden's impeachment, and see, then we'll get a very clear picture as to whether they're biased or not biased.
So she's filing an impeachment. That came out the other day, which we saw. The other thing is what's happening in DC now, because I also heard from Tara Jane, who knows somebody from Washington DC and saw. Do you want to say it? What's happening?
Well, in Washington, first of all, in DC, and it's not just. So people know, Tara and I work very closely together, but we also have contacts such as Mel Kay, Dan Vandersteel, and Robert David Steele, who've all been to DC. So this information is not coming from the television or from YouTube or from BitChute or from Rumble or Tinder or Grindr or any of those. It's coming directly from people who've been there.
Mhm.
And they've told us there's around 30,000 military on the ground. They've also told us there's a wall fence around the White House, around the boundaries of DC, Washington, DC, District of Columbia. So they've isolated Washington, DC, the White House. Just for the record, it was built on a swamp, just so you know. But it's been isolated. And the DC bit, for those who don't know, stands for District of Columbia, which is interesting. They call it a White House in the District of Columbia. But it's now a foreign. It's always been a foreign territory, but they've kept all that detail away. That's why they got up to naughty business. Now we're going to use it against them. It's now foreign soil. So, and also the corporation of the United States government has been dissolved.
Thank you.
And that's quite important, because if you dissolve a company, just so that people that are following us understand, if you dissolve a corporation and then you elect a chairman to a non-existent company, that in itself is nothing more than stupidity. So this gives you an idea of the depth of staging that's going on. The United States of America Corporation has been dissolved. So there is absolutely no benefit in creating a job at the top for somebody of a company that doesn't exist. And you can go onto Companies House in the United Kingdom and see where the United States Government Corporation has been dissolved. The same with the United Kingdom Corporation and the Commonwealth as a corporation, all been dissolved. But the mainstream media are not covering that because that doesn't fit their narrative.
I also want to say and point out to people that there are many big influencers, Charlie, like yourself, Charlie, and Simon, and there's so much intel circulating, and they genuinely believe that the intel that they get is genuine because they trust the people. Now, I do believe that some of the intel given by the White Hats for our own safety and for our future is given to mislead the deep state, because in the deep state we know the plan. And I believe only maybe 10 people know the exact timeline, or under 10 people. What do you think about that?
I think you're absolutely bang on, and I've said this all the way along. I'm just Charlie. I'm not the Messiah.
Now, I know these people are stupid, but if we're in a right mind, I have a hard time with that, because human characteristics that we all carry, this gut feeling sometimes that we get to know that things are wrong or things are right. How is it that these people was not born with the same gut and have the same understanding when they see this? They got to be seeing this. How is it they're not privy to what we're watching, hearing, and seeing and understanding? How is it they're not? How is it they can't put two and two together? This still baffles the shit out of me.
Donald Trump and his team will know what's going on. We'll sometimes get information. I know that they've used me already on giving me dates and timelines that have been to distract. I know that. I've been told afterwards, and I said I actually don't mind being used to do that, because I delivered it in the right spirit. I delivered it as I felt was right, and pardon me.
Thank you.
And thank you. And I delivered it with a clean heart, and if that's helped to get the end result, that's the most important thing. But I'm going to make a point here, because a number of people have said, "Well, well, you got that wrong. You got that wrong." Let's go back a little bit and just say to everybody, and this is what I'm trying to get people to do. If everybody out there has reset their moral compass and has done what we've tried to do, and that is to establish truth, you don't have to take my word for it. That's not what I'm wanting you to do. I'm wanting you to take the information that's out there from everybody And if I'm included, I'm very, very grateful because I'm doing the best I can to provide the truth. And then take the information from different points and trust your own intuition. Make your own judgment based on the information given to you, rather than being programmed to just listening to one source. Simon Parkes' interpretation will be different to mine interpretation. Sasha Stone interpretation will be different to mine. There are X22 Dave, an amazing source of information. Pimpy, another one. There's plenty of people out there, great sources of information. But we all, and yourself, Nick, different way of putting it across. And it's for each individual to take the information from the different sources and make your own judgment. If you need our guidance as to...
Okay, that's wonderful advice. But I think most of us out here are just looking for the truth. So, if we have competing truths, does that not tell somebody something's not right, or what we're hearing is fraudulent or not? So how do you work your way through that one? This is where this gut feeling keeps telling me there's something missing. What's going to be at the end of this tunnel that we're thinking is going to be good, or is it going to be good? Okay, we hear that it is, we feel that it is, but it don't make it so, does it, till we get to the end of the ride? Okay, all these competing truths. Okay, that's got to do with faith and belief more than a truth, it looks like. Okay, I want to see the best come out of this for all of us. But, like I said, when y'all watch the Hev video on Rumble, and you listen to this first, then you listen to the Hev video, and y'all realize that the enemy that's been pounded in our head for the last 3 years is Jack Dorsey and Twitter, one of them. Then all of a sudden, there's this individual pops up with the Punisher skull and something trumpet at the end of its name, and it looks like almost and sounds like almost the exact same Q drops that was handed to us for the last 3 years. Very few, well, there's pieces of information in it that is new, but at the same time, it almost like it's been reworded. Okay, like I said, I gotta let everybody else make their own mind up, just like Charlie's doing supposedly. And where will we go from there? But there is a lot of fraudulent shit right now being thrown at us from the mainstream media, and they're upholding this bullshit. Okay, even more so, because there was all kinds of things thrown at me last night showing me the wallpaper in the Oval Office, the picture of Benjamin Franklin versus I think it was Jackson, I guess. The outside window showing cars going by, when we know that that's a garden behind the Oval Office. One thing right after another. It's just, why is all of this so-called theatrics freaking necessary when they supposedly got all this evidence to close this out, lock these people up, hang them, shoot them, do whatever needs to be done? This is what don't make no sense to me. Because remember, the military is running our government right now, whether anybody knows this or not. Okay? This way, the court systems means nothing. All the bullshit, the so-called Justice Department, means nothing. Military has their own courts, has their own attorneys, their own judges. So what the hell and why are we putting up with this bullshit? Okay, don't make no sense.
To where we got our information from, like Nick has shown you this morning. will show you where we've got the information from. Some of the information right now on Telegram is being absolutely all over the place. I mean, there's accounts getting hacked and everything else. One little point to pick up that Tara picked up on is with Signal. Because it's owned by the CIA, her data is running all the time behind the scenes on Signal, and it's drained all her data. And this tells you the CIA are taking information from you non-stop. So think very carefully before you put anything on Signal, because they're nicking all that information, harvesting it all to find out what's being said, etc., etc., etc. So just use common sense, because the truth makes sense.
Does
it doesn't. Quite simple, really.
I got deleted this morning. My Facebook was deleted, disabled.
Tinder?
No.
Oh, Grindr, sorry. Oh, Facebook.
No, on Facebook, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm so glad that well, if we was talking porcupines here, then there wouldn't be a need for my Facebook to be deleted, right?
I totally agree with you, Nick. My Facebook, I've had 4 or 5 Facebook pages now taken down, taken away. Twitter, Instagram, everything. That's why we did my own channel. The toughest part by a country mile of not having Facebook is remembering my children and grandchildren's birthdays.
Yeah.
That was the best part about it. But apart from that, no, I can live without it. And now I'm very grateful for a nucleus of great people around the world that I can talk to in Australia, in America, through Europe. If I want to find out what's happening in Norway, I've got people I can talk to there.
Yeah.
I've got people all over the world, and I can find out the truth from people who are on the ground, not from reporters or what they call to be reporters. I get the truth from different people and their perception of what it is. I feel a lot more relaxed when I can get the truth.
Absolutely. You know, so Robert David Steele, he says that we may hear or we may get some clarity by Sunday. Do you have any idea what that may be? And, you know, what have you heard that may emerge in the next few days, weeks, or even months?
I think one thing you should point out with Robert David Steele is by the nature of that he worked for the CIA, he has an awful lot of contacts around him. From that area, the secret services. So his information generally will be accurate.
Mm-hmm.
But again, he gets abused like I do and like you do and like Simon Parkes does with information because we've got a following. So this is where common sense comes in. The most important thing is sit back and be patient and just know that everything's under control and watch what's happening. And then when you start to see things that just don't add up, have a little smile to yourself rather than getting frustrated, knowing that just remember that the battle is already won. This is pantomime, so you have nothing to fear. Enjoy the journey, and don't be so stressed about timelines because that will kill you. Because like even Justin, when we take him somewhere in the car, how long before we're there? How long before we're there? If you say 5 minutes, when it gets to 5 minutes and you've been stuck in traffic, you said 5 minutes. You're better off saying we'll be there tomorrow, and knowing you'll be there within sort of 10, 15 minutes, and overestimate rather than underestimate. And timelines at the moment, I can assure you, I can guarantee you one thing: I haven't got a clue what the timelines are. I'm told things, nor is Robert, nor of any of us. We're basing it on the facts that we've got. The truth is, there's a tight team at the top who know exactly what the timelines are, and they're not sharing it. We're guessing at the moment based on the information we're getting.
Absolutely. And we put the dots together. For an example, the facts that we pointed out earlier in this video, like the Federal Register, that does not make any sense. The Rudy Giuliani tweet, that coincides with what we said about the LA set. So we pick up these nuggets when we put them together. And it's a reasonable assumption because we use it.
It's a reasonable. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is, Nick. It's a reasonable assumption that we know that certain things are going to happen over a certain period of time, we're enjoying the journey, and Nick and I are out there doing our level best, along with plenty of other truth seekers, trying to establish the truth. You know, the X22 is very, very accurate at the moment with his information, which is good to watch. He's on BitChute as well, and on a number of different mediums. And people like this, they've all got different aspects, and when you take the information from all of us, then sit back and try and decipher what's happening based on 3, 4, 5 different opinions, and then you'll get your own. And I tell you what, the feeling of warmth you get when you create a picture out of 5 pieces and it comes to be, it's a lovely, lovely feeling.
Yeah. You know, when we look at all of Donald Trump's achievements from his whole life, even his presidency, everything, all the executive orders that he's signed, the amount of effort he's put in his rallies, he's had tens and tens of thousands of people knowingly that Biden has had a classroom or in his rallies. And, you know, he's got all of the evidence and the fraud, you know, proof and evidence. Do you think that he will just walk away like this silently with a goodbye speech like that, knowing all of this? And remember, everything that we know, including the listeners, they know much more than us at the top.
They know an awful lot more than us, but he's had to walk away. The reason being is otherwise he'll be held responsible. Where now he's handed over to the military, because America's under the military right now, and the military are employed to protect the people and the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And we have somebody at the moment who's tried to steal the election and gone against the Constitution. So the military will hold them to account in a military tribunal. And there's a reason for that, because the Supreme Courts and the judicial system in America right now is probably one of the dirtiest parts of the swamp. I mean, it's filthy. So it's going to have to be dealt with through the military tribunals, because they can't trust the DOJ.
Absolutely. Let's pretend that it worked out our way. And, you know, Trump stayed, he used the evidence, he overturned everything, and then we saw a smooth transition of a Donald Trump, not the military, another 4 years, just like that. All the sleepers would say, well, Donald Trump rigged it. You know, they would still not believe it.
It won't happen that way.
It won't happen that way, no. So
no, the way it will happen is quite simple. People will wake up to the fact that the corporation doesn't exist anymore. So his job doesn't exist, and he's completely scammed everybody to get in there, knowing the corporation doesn't exist. He'd have to recreate the corporation, which he can't do because of the Constitution. So when the people wake up to the fact that he's rigged it, and the corporation doesn't exist, and at the moment there is no president in the United States of America. It doesn't exist. What does exist is the fact that the USA is under military control right now, and that's where it's at. So we'll go through this process of draining out the swamp, and then we will call an election for a Nasara government.
So now that the sleepers believe that Donald Trump has disappeared now, and the military will soon emerge and take action against a corrupt party, wouldn't then they wake up to actually believe, well, actually, the military, you know, have shown us, not Trump, the military.
Correct. That's what you want. That's what you want. Because otherwise they're pointing the finger at Trump. Whereas the military stand up for the rule of law.
Mm-hmm.
How often did you hear Donald Trump say in his last 2 months, law and order?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're at. Let the military enforce the law and return us to order.
And when he says we'll be back in another form, I mean, it's very obvious, isn't it?
Patriot
you
Party.
and I, it's a little gold nugget, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look, sit back and enjoy the show.
Yeah. Another form is another system, another structure, isn't it? So that's the way I see it. The US could
Maybe he just cut the bit off another 4 more years.
say that again.
Another 4 more years.
Yeah, exactly. It's just we just got to see how this is going to unfold. Like like we said, we don't know the timeline exactly. Probably only 10 people in the less than 10 people walking on this earth right now actually know the timeline, and they know the actual plan. Otherwise, we'd lose.
Yeah. But our job is to bring peace to people and take away their fear. You have nothing to fear right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is under control, and it's all under God's control. That control has been taken away from Satan. Satan and Lucifer have taken control of the world over the last, I don't know how many years, and they've been in control, and the world has gone down a very slippery slope. This has got nothing to do with religion. This is to do with spirituality and faith. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, there's nothing more beautiful than being sat in a room with Muslims, Christians, Jews, Catholics, Protestants, Sunni, Shias, all the different faiths, and when they pray together, that destroys the political class, because that's people coming together and praying together and worshipping together. That's not what the political class want, because they can't control that. They want to divide everybody. If they can't do that, they'll divide black and white. If they can't do that, man and woman. They've been trying to divide us all our lives. The truth is that normal human beings actually get on really, really well together and love each other and love being together. We don't hate people because they're this or that or the other. It's what they create. They create this. I remember the first time in my life I came up against anybody that was foreign, and I was about 7, 8 years old, and they were Chinese. They moved into our town back in Stowmarket in Suffolk, in the United Kingdom. And my father said, "You don't talk to them because they're different to us, and they regard them as communists." I didn't know what one of those was as a kid, but they're different to us. And it took me, for those who read my book will know, it took me a few years, and then I found out they made nice food, and I thought, what's wrong with them? They're nice people. And it was only egg fried rice, but it was simple, and it was nice, and it was different from just plain rice that I'd grown up having. I thought that was rather cool as a kid. Most of the time around the world, there's no culture or race or class or colour that I dislike. There's good and bad in everything. Of course, there's
absolutely. One more thing I want to say before I forget, Charlie. It was very interestingly, in Trump's last speech, he even said, the administration that we've put, I'm paraphrasing though, but he said, the next administration that we've put together, or we've formed something, we're going to have a spectacular future. And he also mentioned about having, in the months to come, a great economic year as well.
Of course.
So people need to read in between those lines. He's going to keep very neutral, but he's just going to give things nuggets, like you said, Charlie.
Yeah. We're going through a process, and the process, we've all woken up to the fact that the process has been put in place so that there's not a civil war in America.
Yeah.
But it would have been very easy if Trump had Biden arrested on stage. It would have caused a civil war between Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and the rest. I noticed that Antifa's website now diverts to the White House, which tells you an awful lot. They also want rid of Biden already. He's only been there one day, and Antifa wanted rid of him. It shows you, the corruption and evil that we're up against. But you don't need to worry. This is all pantomime. This is all working for the better good, and to make sure that people wake up to what's actually happening. And it'll become clearer day by day, and we'll do our absolute level best to establish the truth, and to take away your fear. Yes, there was frustrations, there's been frustrations, but don't get frustrated. Stay positive, and we'll get you through this.
We will. We will. I feel it in my gut, to be honest with you. Something's not right. There's going to be a twist. And I feel that deep in my gut when I put my emotions to one side and I actually think, when I consider everything he's achieved, Trump, and all the logic behind the executive orders, even his speech, even his determination, he won't just leave like that. There's going to be a twist here, and I can't wait for that.
I can assure you of one thing: it won't be one twist. There'll be lots of twists and turns over the next days, weeks, and months. I can assure you of that.
Yeah. Well, Charlie, it's been a wonderful time to. Again, we have our weekly briefings for people to notice in the mornings on Friday, and I just want to wish everyone a good weekend. God bless, and we'll speak very soon, Charlie. Thank you.
Perfect. Cheers, Nick.
All right. Take care. Bye bye. Cheers.
Yes.
Okay, y'all. I've got 7 different things, and I'm thinking there's more. I'm going to try to keep a list. Cars behind Joe Biden. Trump, in the Oval Office, is guarding. Joe signs with left hand, but he's been right-handed his whole life. The EOs, people zoomed in on them. Every one of them was blank. Okay? The wallpaper in the Oval Office was different between Trump's and Biden's. Pics on the wall, the pictures on the wall are different. The statues are different. How did they do this in 24 hours? They didn't. Joe got signed, he got inaugurated on a Bible that was upside down. Okay? I've also seen pictures where they flipped it back up the right way. 17 executive orders signed. Just like Nick there just said, not a one of them showing up on the .gov website. None of them. Trump's still running around in government vehicles. Joe Biden had to rent a plane, private jet, to get to D.C. So this, I don't know. Remember the Q drops done in 30? Or is this going to be 120 days of just bullshit? Then we go forth with our real Constitution and our so-called real government. We won't know until it happens, will we? I just find it really crazy with all this proof and evidence. Why does it take the JAG and why does it take the military even this much longer with them being handed stacks of evidence on these people? Well, they got to rewrite it and make sure it's in government military form before they can go forward. Just some paperwork? Is this all it is? Just asking. Like I said, I still find it funny that we're sitting here watching this, and the elite and the so-called idiots can't watch this, can't see this. We've got it in our guts and our hearts to know that something don't feel right, or look right, or taste right, or smell right, but they can't. We're all born with these same things in us. Or is it that I've not experienced that much evil in my life that has made me totally retarded like them? Is that the case? Because I've never got that far with any of the dumb shit that they pull, so I wouldn't know. I've always been told the only way you're going to know how an individual feels is to walk a mile in her shoes. So maybe that's it. Alright, this is a very long video and I apologize for it. The other one I had was ranting and raving, and some of it still, I've got, like I said, I've got this, I don't know if it's a gut feeling or something. It's a positive feeling in a way, but in the same token, I'm looking at coming out of this dark place, this tunnel that we're in right now. What's it going to be really like? We've been here again. We're being told, and the whole time for the last 4 years, us being told, and through many generations of us being told, we've been lied to. Now all of a sudden, us being told is 100% gospel and truth? Maybe. We can hope, right? That's all we got. Alright, y'all. Take it easy. Peace. And said, I'm also going to put that link in there for Heb. Watch the Charlie first, then go to the Heb thing. She might even be being used as a reverse propaganda tool against us, and she don't even know it. But she's doing her best to, what my understanding is and what I could tell, being she's in Australia. I don't know this woman personally, but I feel like that she's trying to give us the truth. That's all I can go with, right? All right, y'all.